Okay, so you ever feel like you're chasing a little tornado around your house? I swear, sometimes I think my nephew runs on batteries. The Energizer Bunny's got nothing on him.
Well, you're not alone. Lots of parents and caregivers are navigating that same energy. And that's actually what we're diving into today, right? Managing, well, I guess some might call it hyperactivity in kids.
Exactly. And I think it's really important, like you said, not just slap a label on it, but to really understand it. So on that note, let's talk solutions. What's our first tip for helping those high-energy kids thrive?
So, first up, and this one might seem obvious, but it's crucial, is regular physical activity.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell my sister to just let them run it out, right? But what's the science behind why that actually helps?
So, think of it this way. Exercise isn't just about tiring kids out physically, it's like a brain boost. When they're active, their brains release all these important chemicals like dopamine and
Oh,
serotonin.
those brain chemical things, those are good, right?
Exactly. Dopamine, for instance, is linked to things like attention and motivation, which we know are often a struggle for kids who have trouble sitting still. And then there's serotonin, which plays a big role in regulating mood, keeping those emotional ups and downs a bit more even.
Okay, so it's not just me. Taking my nephew to the park for an hour actually does make a difference in his focus afterward. It's like magic, but brain chemistry magic.
Exactly. And it doesn't always have to be just running around a playground either, although that's great too. You can get creative. Think obstacle courses in the backyard, a dance party to their favorite music, or even just a nature scavenger hunt. The key is to make it fun and engaging.
I love that. Okay, so we've gotten those wiggles out. What's next on our list of tips?
All right, so tip number 2 is all about building a structured environment.
Okay, I got to be honest. When I hear structured environment, I immediately think like super strict schedules, color-coded calendars, the whole nine yards. But I have a feeling that's not exactly what you're going for here.
All right, we're definitely not talking about running your home like a boot camp. It's more about creating a sense of predictability, not rigidity. Kids, especially those with a lot of energy, actually tend to thrive on routine.
That makes sense. It's like if they know what to expect, it can help ease some of that anxiety and help them feel more secure.
Exactly. And when they feel more secure, they're better able to manage their impulses and, make better choices overall.
It's all connected. This actually reminds me of a study I read recently about how visual schedules, like instead of just telling kids what to do, having pictures to go along with it, can be super helpful for kids who have trouble staying on track.
Absolutely. And even beyond visual schedules, those simple everyday routines are huge. Think consistent meal times, having a designated playtime, a regular bedtime routine. Those predictable patterns can make a world of difference.
It's all about setting them up for success, not controlling every little thing, right?
Exactly. Now, are you ready for tip number 3?
Hit me with it.
Okay, this one's about breaking down tasks. And honestly, this is a good one for adults too.
Oh, tell me about it. My to-do list is out of control.
Right. So think about it. When a kid hears clean your room, that can feel super overwhelming, right? But what if instead you break it down into smaller, more manageable chunks?
Chunking, that's what you call it, right? Chunking. Like instead of clean your room, it's put away 5 toys, and then they get a little break.
Exactly. And it works for everything. Homework, chores, getting ready in the morning. You're basically taking a big, potentially overwhelming task and making it feel less daunting.
It's like that saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Speaking of things that can feel overwhelming, let's talk about screens. That's a big one, right? It is. And look, I get it. Screens are designed to be engaging, even addictive. But that constant stimulation, it can actually make hyperactivity
Oh,
worse.
yeah. It's like their brains go into overdrive, and then it's twice as hard to get them to focus on anything else.
Exactly. So while you don't necessarily have to ban screens entirely, finding a healthy balance is key. We want to make sure kids are engaging in other activities, especially ones that help them build those focus and creativity muscles.
Right, like building a fort, putting on a play, or just, picking up a good old-fashioned book. Remember those. Okay, we're on a roll here. What's our last tip for today?
Last but definitely not least, let's talk about the power of positive reinforcement. And I don't just mean saying good job every now and then. I mean really being intentional about it.
So instead of constantly pointing out what they're doing wrong, like stop fidgeting or pay attention, it's about acknowledging and praising
Mm.
the behaviors we want to see more of, right? Like, I love how focused you are on your drawing right now, or you're doing such a good job sitting still.
Exactly. You're basically catching them doing something good and reinforcing it.
It's amazing how well it works, too. And it's not just about getting them to behave. It's about building their self-esteem, too. All right, so there you have it, folks. 5 deep dive tips for navigating the world of high energy kids. We talked about the importance of regular physical activity, building a structured environment, breaking down tasks into manageable chunks, balancing screen time, and of course, the power of positive reinforcement.
And remember, every child is different. What works for one might not work for another. So it's about finding those strategies that best support your unique little whirlwind.
I love that. And hey, while you're trying out those strategies, maybe think about how they might apply to you too. I know I could use a little more chunking in my own life.